What's going on, everyone? Investor here. It's time for my weekly portfolio update. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and hit that bell icon. I don't want you guys to miss any new content. I apologize for missing last week, but the week leading into Christmas was a little chaotic for me. I caught the flu. If you might be able to hear some of the raspiness in my voice, I apologize. But I was down for a couple of days. So, a good thing about being a dividend investor is that my stocks were still working for me, even if I wasn't able to. So, this recap is going to be for the last 2 weeks. So, over those last 2 weeks, I've been able to deposit about $325 into the account. I wasn't planning on working any overtime, but I ended up staying a couple days late here and there over the 2 weeks. Ended up working out to be the same that I would have anyway. So, it's kind of nice that it worked out to be in the same deposit. So you can see the account is now at $12,908. So for a minute there, I was thinking, the stocks were going to end on a positive note as opposed to ending down on Friday. But thinking that it was actually going to take me over the 13,000 mark for the year, which would have been great because if you guys have been following along, just getting over that 10,000 mark for the year was a win for me, and anything over that is just gravy. So being able to almost hit that 13,000 mark would have been fantastic. So, oh well, we'll save that for next year. So you can see $12,908. I did spend the last 2 weeks dollar cost averaging. I did buy some shares outright, things that I tried to catch on the ex-dividend dates, and we'll get into that here when I get into the spreadsheet. I only received the one dividend payment over the last 2 weeks, but it was kind of an important one because that one did set a record for me, and I'll cover that more here in just a minute. So also during this latest bull run here of the last 2 weeks, I took the opportunity to sell off one of the positions in my portfolio that needed to go. It was one that I picked up when I first started kind of getting into dividend investing, not really knowing much, still learning. I stuck with it. It rebounded. I ended up making a couple of bucks off of it and dumped it. So hopefully you guys know which one I'm talking about. If you guys have been following me for a minute, see if you guys can guess which one it is. But let's jump over to that spreadsheet. We'll see if you guys are right, and we'll get into the fun stuff. All right, guys. So taking a look at the spreadsheet, you'll see one of the first things here you probably notice. Here's the big minus 16 right here for AT&T. So if you had guessed AT&T is the one I sold off, then obviously you'd be right. So AT&T, just taking a look at the financials, just taking a look at where it's been over the last couple of years, the stock just really is going nowhere. I decided it was time for it to go, especially here. I'll show you in a minute here, but with the recent bull run, I was actually able to pocket a couple of dollars, so it was time to cut ties with AT&T. So AT&T and Verizon, this is one of the ones that I picked up kind of when my first couple days, first couple weeks here of learning to be a dividend investor. Just you get sucked in by the high yield and all that stuff, and I'm as guilty as anybody else, but you learn, you grow, and you move on. So it was time to move on. So luckily enough, it recouped a little bit, and I was able to make some of that money back, so I didn't take a loss on it. So still debating if I'm going to do the same for Verizon or not. Right now, I'm just kind of holding on to that one. So we'll do one at a time, kind of till I'm happy where my portfolio is going. But AT&T was one that had to go. So you can see I added a little bit of HCHD, half a share of JEPI to push that over the 46 mark. One almost, look at 1 3/4 share here of O Realty. Coke was just from the drip I think it was 2 weeks ago, as well as, where is Kraft Heinz right here. I added 1 share before the ex-dividend date and then from the drip. So, and then I added 8 shares of Tesla, really trying to pick up my position there. For Procter & Gamble, this was just a dollar cost averaging play, trying to get it played, just trying to bring it down a little bit. QQY and JEPY, same thing, just 1 share of each, just trying to bring that dollar down, the dollar cost averaging down a little bit. So that's kind of what I've been up to for 2 weeks there. That's what I've been buying, selling. Like I said, AT&T was kind of the big one. You'll notice in the 365 history, a couple more greens. So getting there. Verizon's still on the cusp. 1 week it's green, 1 week it's red. Hopefully it'll come back and stay. So moving on to the positions again. If you're new here, this green and red here is just from the last trading day, so Friday. So was down $52 there on Friday. And then everything over here, this is the total. So you can see total gain. So I'm up $550 into the account, or averaging about 6.4% right now up. So fantastic to see. Obviously, that does include the dividends here that I've factored back in. The gain percent here does not, though. This is just off the underlying position and then the total gain. total percent. So you can see the ones that are in the red, you know, I'm still working on getting out of the red, even though some of the overall may be the green, because the total dollar I factoring back in the dividends. Yeah, I'm making money. So if you look at AT&T, actually was up 0.24% on the underlying position. And you can see here, as soon as it crossed over where my cost basis was, plus with the dividends, it was time to go. So I was happy with that decision. You know, right now it doesn't have a fit in my portfolio, and it's something I would suggest for a lot of you guys that if you take a look at your portfolio and there's something there that just doesn't seem to mesh anymore, something that you're just not really, you know, into like you were when you bought it, maybe it's time to reevaluate. So just food for thought. That's kind of one thing that I've learned from this year. So jumping over the calendar, you can see Kraft Heinz here. Got my $4.60, big time $4.60. But that $4.60 pushed my total over $100. First time ever in my account. Of course, it would be during the last month of the year. So first time I've ever received over $100 a month in dividends. You know, especially when I was pushing to try to hit 50 as a goal. You know, and you can see I did that last month, but now this month going over the $100 mark. So I couldn't be more happy to see that, guys. Give me a thumbs up for my first $100 month. Very excited. You know, now we move on to next year, and I want that $100 to just be kind of the starting point, and we move up from there. So learned a lot this year. You know, stay tuned. Within the next couple of days, hopefully, maybe Wednesday, Thursday, I'm gonna try to get my year-end totals and everything, and I'll put out a video for you guys just recapping some of the wins, some of the losses, you know, kind of where I'm at with that, as well as the goals for next year. So, but right now, $102.62 in dividends received for the month of December. Fantastic. So $355 in total for the year. You know, some might not think that's a lot of money. To me, that's fantastic, especially when this first year was just kind of learning how to be a dividend investor, learning companies, learning things I want to actually spend real money on, you know, as opposed to just trying to dump it all in like a Yield Max or Defiance. Obviously, I do have several of those, but I'm not one that wants to put like $10,000 in a year and try to make that money. I want something that I can hold on to long term. You know, even though I do have Tesla, QQY, and JetY, these are things that, you know, hopefully I can help just generate a little bit of money to put into the ones that I want to hold long term. So, because these ones aren't going to be around forever, so I might as well, you know, try to make a couple of bucks off of them while I can. So, nonetheless, $102, fantastic, right? So, we'll get this spreadsheet cleared for next year. Nice clean slate. I'll get it all filled up, ready to go. So, 355.03 for the total for the year. You can see the cadence there. You know, obviously the ones that are the quarterly payers got the little bit of spikes, but then we just kind of start trending up. And we got the total up here at $355. So taking a look at the pies, not much has really changed. The goals, fortunately, I did fall short of the goals for the year as far as trying to hit 50 of each of those. I did get really close though. So part of the goal for next year is I'm just going to keep these until I hit the 50. And in addition to the goals that I'm going to share with you guys when I release that next video of what I've kind of come up with for that year. So not bad. So if you guys have been following the last week or two here, you know, goal for next year is that I do want my account to hit 25,000 for the year, essentially just doubling what it was when I started. I'm already at 12.9, so I've added a few $100 into that. So I've got a good start. So moving along. You can see I kind of just played with some of the numbers here. So fourth quarter growth over third quarter. I grew 120, we'll call it 121% growth over third quarter. I went from $93 in third quarter up to the $205 for fourth quarter. So overall, 1,600%. Granted, this is the very first year. I went from $11 in the first quarter to $205 in fourth quarter. Naturally, you're going to see these big giant numbers. So unsustainable for, you know, foreseeable future, you know, but I still would like to see, you know, the 50, 60, 70. It's possible. Maybe. I don't know. You know, I'm going to be going into year 2 as a dividend investor. A lot more to learn. So please comment below, guys. Let me know what you think. You know, if this is something sustainable, like to try to get within 40, 60% growth quarter over quarter, or, you know, if this is going to be more like 10%, or who knows with what you're seeing so far, right? So quarterly, you can see just nice big jumps, especially this fourth quarter, significant jump. You know, as we start adding here, you know, we're going to see even more and more as we go up. So as we start into 2024, you can see a new column will be started here, and we'll we'll keep going and going. Like I said, this channel is new. This is your guys' opportunity to get in at the ground floor. So, please hit that subscribe button. Watch me go. I want this account to really flourish and be able to provide me that financial freedom like I'm sure many of you guys are wanting. So, projected income for 2023, it's about where it's at. As 2023 gets ready to wrap up, and as I get the spreadsheets all updated, and AT&T here, we'll take that off and condense the spreadsheet here. And we focus on the goals a little bit more. But you'll see the final spike here for December as I crested just over that $100 mark. You can see the whole progression from the entire year. Started off real low, got the spikes, come down into the valley, and then the new peak went a little higher back into the valley, and then we just kind of started blossoming and going up from there. Now that's the trend I want to continue, is just to keep seeing this line just keep going up like that. As well as the portfolio, as soon as I get everything updated here, I'll get this added in with the new account value. Obviously we're going to be a little over this 12.5 mark, as we go into 2024. So anyway, guys, let me know what you think. Like I said, this is kind of the 2-week update, kind of quick. I'll have more coming out hopefully in a few days. I'll be able to get that 2023 recap done for you guys and show you guys some of the wins, some of the losses, kind of share with what I've learned a little bit, and then show you guys what my goals are for the next coming year. And we'll go from there, guys. So please comment below. Let me know how your 2023, if you hit your goals, if you didn't, what you're working on. And I will see you guys in the next one. Happy investing.